Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving headfirst into a musical genre that, let me tell you, people either absolutely love or fiercely debate. We're not just talking about notes and melodies here. Oh no. This is about history, identity, and what even counts as art.
And let's just jump right into the fire, shall we? This quote right here, wow. The term used as Turkish art music is nothing but utter nonsense. I mean, that's not just a criticism, that's a complete takedown. And it really gets to the heart of the problem. Because for a lot of people, the controversy starts with the name itself.
So what is this music that gets people so fired up? To figure that out, we've got to peel back the layers on a tradition that's seen as the absolute pinnacle of culture by some and a total sham by others.
Okay, first things first, we have to talk about the name. Seriously, before we even get into the sound of the music, we need to understand why just calling it Turkish art music is such a huge deal.
So, the case against the name Turkish art music pretty much boils down to a few key things. First, critics say it's basically a modern invention, cooked up by Turkey's state broadcaster TRT just to make it sound fancy. And here's the big problem with that. If you call this art music, what does that say about other Turkish music, like folk music? That it's not art? See the issue? Plus, if you look at older sources, they just called it Turkish music. The whole art part was supposedly tacked on later to separate it from pop and this other genre, arabesque, when they came along.
So, if not Turkish art music, then what? Well, a lot of people push for alternatives like classical Turkish music or even Ottoman music, and that's because these names point to where the music really came from. Not from the villages or the public square, but from the super refined world of the Ottoman palace.
All right, to really get a grip on this whole debate, you need a roadmap, a historical one. Because this music isn't just one thing. It actually changed and evolved through three pretty distinct eras.
So check this out. It all starts way back with what's called classical Ottoman music. Think 16th to 20th century. This was the sophisticated stuff made in palaces, very complex, art for art's sake, with legendary composers. Then you hit the 20th century, and it morphs into what most people think of as Turkish art music, or TSM. And this category is huge. It's got everything from these really deep classical pieces to like popular songs from movies. And then, starting in the 80s, you get this whole new wave, light Turkish music. Suddenly, you've got these massive orchestras, Western instruments. It's a whole different vibe, taking the music in another new direction.
Okay, so we've covered the history, we've talked about the controversial name, but now let's get to the real heart of it all. Why do people love this music so much? Like, what's the emotional pull?
A huge part of the appeal is in the lyrics. There's this incredible dignity to them. This quote really says it all. The lyrics show respect, even in heartbreak. It's a total contrast to some modern pop songs that are basically like, good riddance, hope you're miserable. This is just a completely different world of emotion.
Yeah, for its fans, this music is like a portal to this really deep, sophisticated, emotional world. It's not just about being sad, it's about exploring melancholy and longing and nostalgia with this incredible artistry and grace. It's heavy stuff, but beautiful.
And you absolutely cannot talk about this music without talking about Raka, the famous anise-flavored spirit. The connection between them is legendary. It's so deep, so intertwined that some people don't just see it as a pairing. As this quote puts it, perhaps Raka is the child of Turkish art music, or maybe they are lovers. Wow!
But, and this is a big but, for every single person who finds that kind of beauty and solace in these songs, there's someone else who just can't stand it. And this, right here, is where the debate really catches fire.
I mean, look at this. The opinions couldn't be more black and white. On one hand, you have people calling it soul-feeding music that reflects our spirit, our very own child. And on the other, I hate Turkish art music. It's a subculture element that reminds me of casinos. There is no middle ground there. So what are the big complaints? Well, some say it just kind of degenerated over time into this early version of arabesque. One person even claims, and this is a wild take, that the legendary singer Zeki Müren personally stopped its development dead in its tracks. Others just find the lyrics to be full of deep misery and unrequited love. Just a total downer. Or they complain that it's just become a cliché. You only ever hear the same 20 songs on repeat. And finally, you get the argument that it's not even authentic because of all the influences from Byzantine church music and Western instruments. And hey, remember that beautiful romantic connection to Raku we talked about just a minute ago? Well, check out how the critics flip that on its head. This quote calls it the art music whose greatest virtue is being a Raka appetizer. Ouch. So that cultural bond isn't a sign of depth anymore. It's a diss. It basically frames the music as nothing more than background noise while you drink. Not art, just an appetizer.
So, where does that leave us? We've got this passionate, profound love on one side, and this really harsh, intense criticism on the other. You know, maybe the point isn't to figure out who's right. Maybe it's about appreciating the incredible complexity of the debate itself.
So, what is it? Is it high art? Is it a historical relic? Is it just a tired cliché? What the sources really show us is that it's all of those things at the same time. It's not one thing. It's this living, breathing cultural space where all these contradictory feelings, love, nostalgia, criticism, can all be true at once.
In the end, maybe Turkish art music, or whatever you want to call it, is less of a musical genre and more of a cultural idea, right? It embodies the soul, the history, and all the contradictions of a nation's music. It's almost like the conversation about the music is as much a part of it as the songs themselves.
And that brings us to our final question. Is this music just a beautiful, nostalgic echo of the past? Or can it find a new voice, a new meaning for the future? The melody is still there for sure, but what it's going to mean to the next generation? Well, that's still an open question.